Easiest thing in the world to date.
Easiest thing in the world to grow.
But if you're going to grow your first flowering shrub, it has to be this hibiscus.
Yes, because they're easy, they're dramatic, and they also make you look like you know what you're doing.
Okay.
But you don't have to know what you're doing for these to work, because these will even grow in heavy clay soil, wet areas, or regular garden areas. Give it a lot of sun, big blooms, big wow factor.
On my property, I've got a pond.
Yes, I know.
And trying to find that perfect plant that will grow right at the edge of the pond has been tough. It's always just been one plant, just lilies.
Right.
Now, look at this. This is 3-in-1. These blooms are as big as my head. And you get this type of color this year.
Exactly, and look at the beautiful colors here. These are big, and I float these blossoms often in a low bowl on the table. They're just gorgeous, but the curb appeal is unbelievable. The plants themselves only 24 to 36 inches tall, blooms up to 8 inches across, and completely perennial. These come back every single year.
Great.
In the coldest and hottest areas of the country. What's redder than that? I mean, that is, okay, I better put the brakes on right now and get a good look at this one. And to make everything show up, you've got to have the white flowers. You've heard me preach this for years, but we've got this big white one in there
and
also.
It's real white. It's not a creamy white. It's a white linen white.
I would call it appliance white.
Appliance white, that's good.
And then you've got that bullseye for the hummingbird right in the center, and then the perfect pink one right here, where you've got the gradients of the pink and the pale pink, and then the darker ruby eye. These are very long-lived perennials. They will grow in the poor soil. They're low maintenance, and it is an absolute wow factor. Once they get established, I mentioned that they'll grow in wet areas.
Right.
Once they're established, they will even take the drought. And here I am picking the varieties out at one of the plant evaluation trials. We went through not just looking at the blooms, but the habit of the plant. I didn't want something that was scruffy looking.
Yep.
It had to be tidy, so you don't feel like you've got to trim it.
People don't, I want people to really embrace this. You know, QVC is about, I hate to say it, products.
Yes.
But products so often can be, you know, materials thrown into a hopper and, you know, the toaster oven pops out the other side. This is done with love. And this particular plant, we're talking about a price of under $30, $26.40, that will give you joy year after year after year. You've combined 3 different plants together,
this is the
and
way
you've done
that they
all
come.
the work for us.
All 3 varieties are in this pot. They will bloom their heads off this year and for years and years to come. These are very long-lived perennials, and as I mentioned, they are drought tolerant. They will also take inundation from lots of water, and the deer don't touch them.
But hummingbirds fall in love with
Hummingbirds are wild for them.
Butterflies are
the
crazy
curb
for 'em.
appeal is off the chart because people will stop and say, what is that? And because the blooms are so big, whether they're in a container or in the ground.
This man is not just a horticultural expert. He is also a true designer, a passion for design. It's taking Mother Nature at her very best and presenting something that's unique. And let's face it, part of the joy of gardening is having what other people don't have.
Precisely, and who's going to have that? These blooms up to 8 inches across, this enormous red blossom in the same, and it looks like a shrub, by the way, when this perennial gets going. You've got this bright white one in there, and the white draws your eye to all of it, and there is not another pink one out there that looks like this. Unbelievable, gorgeous colored pink. The plants themselves, 24 to 36 inches tall.
So it's
and as
manageable.
I mentioned, yeah, they're manageable. You don't have to trim them. And completely perennial. These come back every year. Whether you live in Aspen or you live down in Jackson, Mississippi, these are going to work like a charm.
What Philip has done for many years, and I want you to understand and appreciate what he does for you as a customer. His business has been built for many years, primarily working in the Martha's Vineyard area and up here on the northern seacoast, with a very extensive, very well-known celebrity clientele. They're not getting $26 and change on pieces like this. This is where very wealthy clientele say, give me something different.
Yes.
Give me something others do not have.
They can't get this anywhere.
And they can't get, exactly.
They can't get it, and that's what we do. We do not just the plants that work for you, but we also do the designing that will tantalize you, and
It's
you'll get a growing guide.
3 different
Tells you everything
plants
that
together.
you need to know.
Your growing guides, by the way, they're simple,
And they're simple,
versatile,
they're easy
and you
to understand.
actually guarantee success.
And save these, and also keep them with your fertilizer. The Bud and Flower Booster, which is our customer top-rated fertilizer, 100 gallons worth. If you're only getting 1 fertilizer, this is your baby.
Perfect. It's a hardy hibiscus.
Yes.
And when Philip and I were talking, we spent a lot of time yesterday sitting down and going over every single item in the program. And again, if you're just starting out, you want success. You want that feeling of accomplishment. Look at how deep green and waxy these leaves are. It's a beautiful, beautiful plant by itself, but then you get more than fist-sized flowers.
All of these blooms, I mean, it's an absolute party. And this is a beautiful representation of what you can expect to have for years and years
and this year
to come.
Yep.
And people have been buying them in pairs because they look great in pots or in the ground. But if you've got a long perennial border and you want something that's really going to dazzle people, you pop these in about every 6 feet, one of these pots. You've got all of your other beautiful flowers, but this stands out like, oh my gosh, here I am.
It is a focal point at a very reasonable price. These are brand new today. And here's the fun part. When we say new today, you started this process years ago.
Yes, we did.
To be able to bring them to us on a cold February morning as we get ready to look forward to spring. Even if you don't know yet where you will plant it or where you'll put that pot, order 2 of them. You'll find the right spots.
You'll find the right spot, and you will love these. This will be your favorite new perennial.
For years and years
Because
to come.
it is the photo op. This is where you take the pictures of your friends and your children and your grandchildren. But don't be without something that is just dazzling. I have them in my garden. I've had them for years. And when they're blooming, you literally don't notice anything else.
It's a gorgeous, gorgeous plant. Now, when fall comes.
Yes.
And by the way, the flowers are going to start blooming in the summer and go all the way
Into the
into
fall.
the fall.
That's correct.
What do I do maintenance-wise on this plant at the end of the year?
Well,
this
after
season?
frost comes, what I do is I cut the stems back. I leave about 4 inches above the ground.
Okay.
And because they're late to leaf out in the spring, and that way I know where they are and I don't accidentally dig into them when I'm trying to plant something else.
That makes perfect sense. Brand new today, and a gorgeous way to start. Over 1,000 people have been on the phone lines for this one
They'll love
already. You will not be disappointed. And Bud and Flower Booster, customer top rated.
Yes,
It is
no mess, no fuss, and no dirty fingers. You know, we want to be clean and beautiful.
That's beautiful. Coming up, am I allowed to have a favorite in the show?
Yes.
This is it. This is absolutely it. These are ground